The included in the STS plan forms are addressing procedures with respect to the following: 1. Pre-planning and implementation of the STS operation. 2. Exercise and due diligence. 3. As per new resolution MEPC 186/59. 4. Optional procedures associated with USA Declaration of Inspection and maintenance of the STS equipment. Operational procedures are the following: STS-1. Preliminary report. This form is completed when both vessels have been nominated for an STS operation. It is completed by ship's operator or officers on board, and the completed form should be effectively forwarded to the STS service provider prior commencement of the STS operation. In order to complete this form, the following are required: 1. Particulars of the vessel. 2. Details of the cargo to be transferred. 3. The date of last STS operation. 4. Verification of completion of Form STS-9. 5. Verification of the completion of Forms STS-11, STS-12. 6. Details of the designated person in charge, or the person in overall advisory control, POAC. 7. If the STS operation takes place at USA waters, special instructions required by the USA CFR 33, 155, 720. STS-4. Before operations commence. This form is completed by the officer on watch when communications have been established at the rendezvous location. Should you have any queries with respect to completion of this form, please consult the POAC of the operation. STS-5. Before mooring. This form is also completed by the officer on watch when communications have been established at the rendezvous location. Should you also have any queries with respect to completion of this form, please consult the POAC of the operation. STS-6. Before cargo transfer. This form is completed by the officer on watch when the two ships are securely moored and before cargo transfer commences. At this stage, good communications should have been established between the personnel responsible for cargo operations on each ship. Should you have any queries with respect to completion of this form, please consult the POAC of the operation. STS-7. Before unmooring. This form should be completed by the officer on watch when the STS operation has been completed and both vessels are ready to commence the separation phase. Should you also have any queries with respect to completion of this form, please consult the POAC of the operation. STS-10. Nonconformity reports. In case an incident related to the following takes place, a nonconformity report should be issued, and preventing actions should be suggested. 1. Crew performance. 2. STS equipment performance. 3. STS service provider. 4. Cargo transfer procedure. 5. Communications or communication equipment. 6. Reporting procedures. 7. Other cases. Managers and/or operators should be informed if officers issue a nonconformity report. STS-12. Fender Selection Assistance Request Form. This form should be completed by the officer on watch and be forwarded to the STS provider prior commencement of the STS operator. The STS operator will account for the completed data and ship characteristics and will proceed in the suggested fender selection. The master has to be informed in advance of the selected primary fender type, and this outcome should be compared with the proactive fender selection performed by the ship's officers whilst completing Form STS-11. Should the outcome of Form STS-11 is different from the one provided by the STS service provider, Then detailed justification from the STS provider should be forwarded to the vessel in writing with respect to the following: A. Accounted weather conditions. B. The approaching speed of the maneuvering vessel. C. The selected safety factor. D. The type of selected fenders. Should the master approve the selected fenders provided by the STS service provider, then you may proceed with the operation. Otherwise, the master should inform the STS provider about his proactive fender selection and discuss this further with the service provider. Due diligence procedures are the following. STS 9 Service Provider Quality Assessment. This form is completed when the STS service provider is nominated. The operator or ship's officers should email this form to the STS service provider and request immediate completion in response. This form is in line with ICS latest edition, ship-to-ship transfer operation, and the provider should respond prior to the commencement of the operation. It is at the discretion of the master to request further clarifications from the STS service provider should an answer is provided with a no reply. STS 11 Fender Selection Calculation. The proactive fender selection calculation should be completed as per examples shown at Annex 1. The procedure is described in detail in 6 steps, and Form STS 11 is simultaneously completed, as described in the examples. It is critical for the calculation officers to be aware of the following: 1. The weather and sea state conditions. 2. The type of the STS operation amongst the normal lightering, reverse lightering, or full covered operation. A safety factor from 1 to 2 should be decided on the basis of the type of the operation. 3. The displacements of both participating vessels. 4. The maximum expected approaching speed of the maneuvering vessel. Procedures as per new resolution MEPC 186/59 are the following. STS 2. Notification to Coastal Authority. This form is completed by the officer on watch and transmitted to the coastal state or the state in whose the exclusive economic zone the STS operation takes place. Each oil tanker that plans STS operations within the territorial sea or the exclusive economic zone shall notify the coastal state not less than 48 hours in advance of the scheduled STS operation. Where, in an exceptional case, all of the information required is not available not less than 48 hours in advance, the oil tanker discharging the oil cargo shall notify the Coastal Administration not less than 48 hours in advance that an STS operation will occur, and the information required shall be provided to the coastal state at the earliest opportunity. STS 8. Operation Performance Evaluation. This form is completed by the officer on watch after the completion of the STS operation, and when separation of both vessels has been completed. This form is an outline of the records for the specific STS operation. Should an officer wish to consult the outcome of the specific STS operation, then he or she should refer to this form. Should a non-conformity report has been issued with respect to the STS operation, this should be noted and recorded. Optional procedures are the following. STS 3. Declaration of Inspection for Tanker Vessels. This form is completed when the STS operation is planned for the United States of America, according to CFR 4635.35.30. The person in charge, POAC, will prepare and duplicate a declaration of inspection. The original must be kept on board the vessel and a duplicate provided to the terminal supervisor or that person's representative. The supervisor or the representative may, upon demand, inspect the vessel to determine whether its condition is as stated in the declaration of inspection. Forms ECQ1 to ECQ5 are used when STS equipment are stored on board the vessel. Such equipment are the transfer hoses, primary or secondary fenders, and the personnel transfer basket. The equipment should be identified at Form ECQ1, and their maintenance should be recorded. Should maintenance procedures take place by third-party contractors, this should be also logged within Form ECQ5. The idea of transferring crude oil or petroleum products between two vessels that are underway, anchored, or drifting on the open ocean may seem risky. And yet, according to shipping companies and maritime accident statistics, this common practice is safe, as long as certain conditions are met. The objective of the STS operations plan is to describe the STS procedures, along with the potential risks, and ensure a safe operation as far as possible. In practice, the transshipment of oil is a high-risk undertaking and poses risks to large-scale consequences. This stems mainly from the nature of oil products, but also by the fact that the ships involved are exposed to weather conditions with limited maneuverability. So for the safe conduct of this operation, the sea area is chosen with care, and weather conditions are taken seriously into account. Of course, the required specialized equipment, the suitability and compliance of ships, as well as the experience of the crew, are also decisive factors. Experience gained from those operations has proved that STS transfers are safe provided that the use of suitable equipment and compliance with proper procedures and policies are met. Prudent actions from the officers protects the liability of the owner by exercising the anticipated due diligence in the STS operations.